अरे वाह, इतना बड़ा डिस्काउंट।
Really? How come?
वो ओनर फैन है ना मेरा, so
I'm impressed.
So, hope you like the meal and the discount you got with Swiggy Dine Out.
Go out and dine at the finest restaurants and save up to 40% on your bills. Only with Swiggy Dine Out.
Hello and welcome to a very special World Cup interview with former World Cup winning captain and a very dear friend of mine, Michael Clark. Michael, thank you very much for joining me in this particular edition. India hosts again. 2015, you won it. 2019, Owen Morgan, host countries. 11 was India. Are you giving us a chance? Let's ask you that first question.
Hello, buddy. Thank you for having me. Nice to be here. Of course, India in their own backyard. No tougher team to beat. Playing at home, I think you've got a lot of big players that like the big tournaments or the big stage, that want to stand up and help the country have success. So, yeah, look, I wouldn't be surprised if India won this World Cup, put it that way. I think they are the favourites. I think they've earned that right. I think they deserve to be. But I think they've got some tough competition, that's for sure.
So can we set it up from the start? India v Australia. Australia look a very good team. We've just finished a bilateral series as well. India versus Australia starts the World Cup for India. How does Michael Clark set that match up?
Well, I think the balance of both teams is really important. I think assessing conditions, working out what is their best 11. And I think both teams at the moment, India probably have had so much success, and a lot of their players that are probably not in their starting 11 have done so well. It's hard to work out what the right 11 is for India at the moment. Australia's got the same problems, not based on success though, probably based on injuries, lack of success. Apart from us winning the other day against India, we'd lost previous five ODI games before that. So we didn't play well in South Africa. We didn't play well in the first two ODIs in India. So we're going to work out, firstly, what is the brand of cricket we're trying to play? What is the right 11 for that brand of cricket? And does everyone know their role? And I'm surprised the Australian players don't know that by now. We're not far away from this first game against India. So we're going to have to start this tournament well. We're going to have to select the right 11 and play our best cricket if we want to beat an in-form India.
One player who sort of made a really important contribution since coming back, and also mentally, is Jasprit Bumrah. You have followed Jasprit for a long time. Michael, specifically, Jasprit Bumrah and Kuldeep Yadav, if I can ask you to analyze these two. Suppose you were captain, how important are these two?
Both very important. Bumrah is a genius, and it's just going to take him some time, but he's got time. So I think as long as the expectation isn't for him to walk out in his first game against Australia and be at his absolute best, come semi-final and final, we know what Bumrah can do. He's done it for such a long time in all formats of the game, and you would be a fool to think that he's not going to take a lot of wickets in this World Cup, even in amazing batting conditions in India. I think that's what does set him apart in these conditions, that he knows how to bowl there, he knows how to take wickets, he's got so much skill, he's got different pace, he's got new ball, he's got depth, he's got Yorker, he's got slow ball. So he's a massive player. Kuldeep Yadav, wicket taker, massive wicket taker, big player for India, out the back of the hand, got an amazing wrong-un. I still don't think batsmen pick him completely. And again, I think he's a massive strike weapon for India. I think spin, again, is going to... I know one-day cricket and T20 cricket is different in India compared to Test cricket. But spin is still hard to play. Spin is still an important part of your World Cup campaign if you're going and playing in Indian conditions. Even if they're not taking wickets, they can change the pace of the game, they can slow scoring. So how you bowl spin and how you face spin will dictate the outcome of this World Cup.
Fascinating. Before I come to Australia and the number of all-rounders, let me ask you two specific questions about two players you know very well. The first one has to be Virat Kohli. So much talk going into the World Cup, maybe his last 50 over World Cup. Batting once again like a champion. Form is back, class is there.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on Virat Kohli going into this World Cup?
Yeah, I'd like him to get a duck in the first game. Then he can make 100 every game after that until he plays Australia in the final and then gets another duck. Oh, he's a genius. Class, he's back to his best. He was always going to be back to his best. I think anybody that wrote him off is very silly. Class is permanent, and he's another great player that has shown that. And this is probably his best format. He's a genius in Test cricket and 2020 cricket, but he's once in a lifetime player in one-day cricket. So, you know, he knows conditions. He reads the game really well. He knows when he can afford to take his time. He knows when he's got to up the ante. He knows how to, he knows how to chase a total better than any player in this format ever before him. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a stellar World Cup.
And Rohit Sharma, captain. You've been a captain, World Cup winning captain, one of the greatest ever. How do you analyze Rohit Sharma? We've not won an ICC trophy for 10 years. Pressure will be on Rohit Sharma in home conditions.
It will be, but I think his captaincy is very good. I've said that for a long time. I think he's a very good tactician. I think he reads the game really well. And everybody wants to open the batting in India in one-day cricket. It's the best place to bat. The thing about Rohit Sharma is if there's any swing, he's good enough to see that off. There's not too many players in the game that have a better power play, that hit more boundaries than Rohit Sharma. So as good as Virat Kohli is, man, Rohit Sharma could be the most dangerous player in the World Cup. I just think he's that good in those conditions, and he can make, like, the difference with Rohit. He could make a double 100. Like we saw Mitchell Marsh the other night, batted beautifully and made 90. And I was sitting watching the TV back here in Australia applauding. Rohit Sharma can make 150, 180, 200. He's that good.
Fascinating, and he actually has many double hundreds in ODI cricket. Exactly what Michael Clark just alluded to. Couple more questions before I move on to something which is very close to me. One, Michael, there's one guy who gets a lot of flack in the media, in social media, but has a huge role for India. And I know you're a supporter, and that's why I'm asking this, is KL Rahul. For whatever reason, he gets so much kickoff in the media. But look at his role. I mean, he's keeping wickets. He's back with a bang. He's batting brilliantly. Important role in the Indian middle order. Thoughts on KL Rahul?
Yeah, and his keeping's improved out of sight. He's keeping certainly well enough in the shorter formats to do it, in my opinion. I watched him bat the other night. He looks like he's back to his best. I think the leadership helps him as well, feeling that extra responsibility. So he walks into this World Cup campaign full of confidence, which is very important for India. I think the other thing about someone like KL Rahul, he can bat anywhere. If somebody gets injured, he could open the batting. He could bat at 3. He could bat at 4. While he's batting like this at his best, he can strike at 140, 150 down the, if he comes in for the last 10 overs. So I think the fact he's in form, that really helps India. Gives him extra power, extra depth, and he's a significant player for India for sure.
Australia, so many all-rounders. How important will that be? Because obviously it's a long tournament, format is interesting. How significant? I mean, Glenn Maxwell, Cameron Green. If I look at that Australian side, Marcus Stoinis, the number of all-rounders, and they bat very deep as well with Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
That makes a difference?
Well, it depends what they go with. That's the problem we got at the moment, Boria. I don't think Australia know what their best 11 is. Do they play 3 fast bowlers or do they play 2? If they play 2, I think Mitchell Stark's the number 1 ranked one-day bowler in the world. Josh Hazlewood might be number 3. What are they going to do? Not pick Pat Cummins, their captain? They can't do that. Do they pick 2 spinners? Do they pick 1 spinner? Do they pick all these all-rounders? There's so many questions at the moment. It looks like they're certainly going to go, they're going to give Mitchell Marsh a crack at the top of the order, and he's in terrific form with Davey Warner, who looks like he's back to batting his best as well. Do they use Steve Smith and Marnus Labuschagne? I think they'll definitely play Steve Smith at number 3. I think 3 or 4 for Steve Smith is the right position. He starts well against spin. He knows the conditions really well, and he's a senior player for us. But can they fit both him and Labuschagne in? Glenn Maxwell hasn't played much cricket at all, certainly international cricket, not for 12 months. So although he got some wickets the other night, he made no runs. His runs are going to be important. And then how do you fit Stoinis, Green, Maxwell? How do you fit them all in? Keeper, Carey. So I think Australia still has some questions to answer around what's their best 11, what's their style of play. Like, again, we've been winning the toss and bowling first for so long, yet the other night we won the toss and batted first for the first time in a long time and had success. So do we even know what we want to do there if we win the toss? So lots of questions for Paddy Cummins and the Australian team. I think we've got a very strong squad, though. I really do. I just think we've got to pick the right 11, back the players, know how we're going to play, and start well. I think this first game against India is very, very important for Australia.
Moving on from this India-Australia thing, Michael, I mean, each time I mention this to anybody as an Indian, I sort of start getting biased because obviously there's so much emotion, so much passion. India-Pakistan. I mean, India-Pakistan on Indian soil. The Pakistan teams here, they are practicing India-Pakistan in front of 100,000 people in Ahmedabad. You're an objective viewer here. I mean, as a former captain, how do you set up India-Pakistan for me? That too in a World Cup on Indian soil.
Yeah, I love it. Honestly, I've been very lucky to commentate a number of the games India's played against Pakistan, and it's the most amazing atmosphere. The feel sort of the night before the game, you can feel people turning up and at the hotel and around the ground, that atmosphere. Then you turn up in the morning to the ground and my God, the fans on both sides are so supportive. So it's a massive game for a number of reasons, but most importantly, because you've got two brilliant teams. Don't underestimate Pakistan in this World Cup. They've got some class players. They've always got good bowlers. They always use their spin well. But this World Cup, I think they've got some batting depth as well. They've got some power players. So, again, it's going to be one of the best games in the tournament. Can you imagine if they play more than once? They meet each other again. Imagine World Cup final, India v Pakistan, or semi-final, wherever they meet. It just creates so much tension. Everyone watches it all around the world. So I think for cricket's sake, you want to see a good game. All Indians want to see India win, or people from Pakistan want to see Pakistan win. But for me, from the outside, I actually think this World Cup, we're going to see an unreal game because you got two very, very strong teams.
It was sort of getting to being one of the best games. Still, Naseem Shah went out with an injury, and all of a sudden people started saying, "Oh, Pakistan now is relatively weak." Without Naseem Shah, they're a good side.
Yeah, they certainly. Of course, you lose a fantastic player. It's significant. It makes a difference to any team. If we were to lose Steve Smith, if we were to lose David Warner, of course it plays a big part in any team. But again, one player. You're not winning a World Cup with one player. It can take a lot more than that. Pakistan have a strong team. As a fast bowler
who was bowling in any part of the 50 overs, Naseem Shah and Shaheen Afridi at the start, he was bowling at the death. So in that sense, it's a huge blow for Pakistan.
Oh, of course it is, yeah. But like I say, okay, if we have no Mitchell Starc, or I'm just picking, players that have been around in the Australian team for a long time and had success. Doesn't matter if it's a batter or bowler. They're both important. If you lose one of your senior players that has been super successful, you're going to miss that. There's no doubt. You can't replace that. But the other thing I've always thought about, certainly World Cups, it gives somebody else an opportunity. And that's what you want as a player. You want to be on that big stage. You want to play against the best teams in the world. You want a chance to test yourself. So, and Pakistan always seem to produce someone. They will find somebody else that will walk in and take that role. Yeah, it mightn't be as good. Again, it's a great player, but I'm telling you, Pakistan seem to, they seem to produce. And I think in Indian conditions, I think they'll be even tougher to beat.
Okay, one more on this before I ask my last question. India-Pakistan on Indian soil, Shaheen Afridi running against Rohit Sharma. It's set up. Are we favourites, or Pakistan would love the underdog tag? Shoaib Akhtar was on this show. He says, give us the underdog tag. We love it.
Of course.
How do you set it up?
Yeah, I think Pakistan would love the underdog tag, but I think India deserve the favourite tag. I think India is the team to beat in this World Cup. Whether they're playing Pakistan, you know how much I love Australia. You know I want Australia to win the World Cup, but India is the team to beat. Now, India has to beat, they've got Australia, they've got Pakistan, they've got New Zealand, they've got England. England, very strong team as well. So, to me,
so who are your top
I think, well, I've just said five, haven't I? India, England, Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan. I think any of those five could win this World Cup. And I don't think I've said that about other World Cups. I think conditions bring the World Cup closer. You got good batting wickets, spin's going to play a part, but everyone's played in India now. Certainly in IPL, in 2020 cricket, everybody's played in these conditions that they're about to face for the 50-over cricket. Test cricket very differently. So out of those 5, I can only pick 4. I'm going to say, unfortunately for New Zealand, I'm going to say New Zealand will miss out on the 4. So I'm going to go in no order. Australia, India, England, Pakistan is my top 4.
Fascinating. Last one. Your strategy against Brendan McCullum sums up what you did as a captain. How important is to soak in pressure? You soaked in that pressure. You unleashed your bowlers. Brendan McCullum out in 2015, half the job was done. Tell me, relationship between pressure on the big stage for Rohit Sharma, what you did then, what can Rohit sort of learn from that one?
Yeah, I think Rohit's a very good leader and tactician as well. So I think he'll be so fine. He's played in front of Indian crowds his whole career, so I don't think he'll feel any extra pressure. I think the key is actually working into the World Cup. I know you want to win every game you play, but I think the key is to not get too concerned if you're not playing your best cricket at the start of the tournament. I think knowing your 11, your best 11 is so important. Knowing the style of cricket you want to play is so important. And then working your way through the tournament. So once you get to semi-final and final, you are at your absolute best. Again, you'll see individuals stand out. That's the way, one-day cricket goes. But the best team will win this World Cup. Whoever comes together as a team, executes under the most amount of pressure will win this World Cup. Whether that's with bat or ball. But you'll see individuals. This is what I love about cricket. I know it's a team sport, but on the biggest stage, this is where you get to see the best players in the world grab hold of their opportunity and show you why they are the best.
You were on that night. I still remember that headline, Pop retires as top dog. World Cup winning captain Michael Clarke, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate as always. Look forward to catching up with you, provided we have that India-Australia final and we don't get a duck from Virat Kohli. We get 100. Michael Clarke and I will have another chat. We have another chat and we'll celebrate what a World Cup it has been. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Good luck to all the teams. Best of luck to all the teams. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Bye.